Okay, question number 4. A frog processes food and eliminates waste through the digestive and urinary systems. Which structures carry out similar functions in the single-celled amoeba? So would that be the cell membrane, chloroplast, Golgi body, lysosomes, ribosomes, or vacuole? So if I were highlighting this, I would definitely highlight processed food, get rid of waste, digestive, excretory. So when I'm thinking about processing food and digestive system, I think about the need for a mouth and a stomach. So this is where we would mark the cell membrane acts like the mouth of a single-celled organism. The lysosomes, which have digestive enzymes, act like the stomach. And then for the other part of this, the excretory system, the vacuole acts like a bladder, which stores urine. So to look at these a little bit more, here we have on the right side the different organelles of the cell and their function, and then on the left side is a comparison of organelles of the cell to the different body systems. Number 5, place the correct words in the paragraph. So questions like this that you may encounter, make sure that you go back and read them once you have included your chosen words. So here it is. Blank are any change that disrupts normal body function. Some bacteria, protists, fungi, and viruses are these, which means they cause illnesses. Some conditions like hemophilia are blank. So we clearly have two choices for the first one, an allergy or a disease. So a disease is any change that disrupts normal body function. Bacteria and viruses are pathogens, which mean they cause diseases or illnesses, and some conditions like hemophilia are inherited. So I have two videos here that I want you to um, pause my video and go watch both of these. The first one is on the germ theory of disease and the origins of it in relation to miasma and where people thought that illnesses came from. And then on the right side there, this is a step-by-step process of determining a specific pathogen of disease. Okay, number 6. White-tailed deer have 70 chromosomes in each body cell. How many chromosomes will be found in a gamete of a white-tailed deer? So this question is a diploid haploid question. Body cells or somatic cells are diploid, so it means there are two copies. So that number is double that of a gamete or a sex cell. So in order to find the answer to this question, and you'll have your Desmos calculator, it's 70 divided by 2, which is 35. So just to review what we're talking about here with diploid versus haploid, we're looking at how many chromosomes are in a particular type of cell. All of our body cells, skin, muscle, bone, tissues of our lungs, all of our other organs have 46 chromosomes. So one copy of each chromosome from our mom and one copy of each chromosome from our dad. And we see that in the diploid karyotype to the left. So for a human, you should have 46 chromosomes. Now, a haploid cell are specialized cells for reproduction. So it's egg and sperm cells. And their job is to produce a new offspring. So their cells must have half of the chromosome number. So the haploid number is the base number of chromosomes by species. So if you look at the graphics here on this slide, that tells us that humans have 23 different types of chromosomes. So that means egg and sperm cells have 23 chromosomes. And then up at the upper right hand corner, you see the difference between mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis producing identical diploid daughter cells in growth and repair of an individual, and meiosis producing 4 haploid daughter cells and producing gametes. Okay, properties of water. The property of water shown allows it to A. Freeze faster than it boils because of sharing metallic bonds. B. Support floating objects due to covalent bonds. C. Remain stable due to electrons from ionic bonds. Or D. Be both cohesive and adhesive because of hydrogen bonds. Well, I went ahead and added to this diagram the label of the bonds involved in water molecule. So the covalent bond is what holds a water molecule together. So it holds the oxygen to the hydrogens by sharing a pair of electrons. And then the other bond represented by the dashed line is the hydrogen bond or the water bond that holds one water molecule to another. So it literally is the bond that holds water together. So when you look at the choices here, based upon the bonds that we just mentioned, we can get rid of metallic bonds in A and ionic bonds in C. So that leaves us with B and D. So B says that it will support floating objects due to covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are what hold a water molecule together, not water. That is done by the hydrogen bonds. So in this question, D is correct. D talks about the hydrogen bonding, and that's what leads to the cohesion of water to water and the adhesion of water to other substances. So when we're talking about properties of water, I know this is not the best graphic in the world. A couple other ones to mention, other than the structure of water and that polarity, that positive and negative charge leading to the hydrogen bonds. A couple other things to mention. The density, when water freezes, it becomes less dense and therefore it floats. Water is a universal solvent, so that means it dissolves many solutes. Why do I keep doing that? And when a substance is added to water, we use this pH scale to determine if it's an acid or a base. So any substance that has a pH below 7, that's an acid. The farther away you get from 7, the stronger the acid gets. And on the other end, anything higher than a pH of 7 is a base, and the farther away from 7 you get, the stronger the bases. Water also has a high surface tension. That's because of cohesion. Water is also adhesive to other polar substances, and that leads to capillary action. And that's how the water gets from the roots to the leaves of trees. Water has a high heat of vaporization, so it takes a lot of heat for water to boil. And when it does evaporate, it takes heat with it. Okay, so this is a Punnett square question, obviously, and I've set up the Punnett square for you. So number 8 says, in one species of plant, red flowers are dominant to white flowers. What are the genotypes of the parent plants that are crossed when 50% of the offspring are heterozygous and 50% are homozygous recessive? Now, you could figure this one out the way that I've got it set up. And I've got it set up for you to work your way backwards. So I have in the offspring that are heterozygous. I have them in box 1 and 2, and I have up the offspring that are homozygous recessive in boxes 3 and 4. So I could work backwards to figure out the parents. Or if I wanted to, and you're going to have scratch paper and all the time in the world, you could work out each of the 4 different Punnett squares and figure out which one would give you the same result. But what we're dealing with here is going to be B. So one parent is big R, little r, and the other parent is 2 little r's. So I've got this here just as a refresher of some of your vocabulary terms: genotypes, phenotypes, traits, alleles, dominant, recessive, and homozygous and heterozygous, as well as when you're dealing with a dihybrid cross, that shortcut and also foiling.